All right, we are live. Hey, Victor.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Really good, thank you.
What's a good icon for today? I think let's go with I don't know. It's it's both a good day and a bad day. So it's been a choppy day. Choppy is probably the right word.
Yeah, it's interesting how the Nvidia earnings are setting up. It's a little bit
Yeah.
of maybe a little nervousness in the market heading into
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Totally. Hey, give me a second. I'm gonna run and grab some water. I'll be right back.
Sure.
All right. Let me see if someone else from Stonks is gonna join. I think our Jason is still unfortunately still down with the Rona, uh, but Ali might join. So let's see.
Oliver joined my stream on Saturday, and he had a lot of good questions.
Nice. Yeah, no, I saw you guys were streaming all weekend. That's awesome. Yeah, I was flying, so I missed the weekend streams, but yeah. So how are we feeling about Nvidia on Wednesday?
Man, it's setting up to be like a prize fight, like a Super Bowl, big playoff game. It certainly feels that way. The anticipation for me. I'll if you watch my channel, you know that I'm both a fan of Nvidia, but feel it's overpriced. So I'm actually shorting Nvidia stock.
Oh
I've got
wow. Okay.
$9,000 at risk. It's not like a giant amount,
Yeah.
but I wasn't gonna put videos out there that said, "Hey, I think Nvidia is overpriced," without me putting some capital out there and putting something behind it. So I'm just not, putting comments out there. And at times that short position looked good. I was in the positive. Right now I'm negative like 10%. So going into the Nvidia earnings, it'll be because the the stock has detached itself from fundamentals and valuations. I don't know that anybody's going to argue that. It's just so exciting to see Nvidia grow. And is it gonna have earnings that really capture that imagination of the market? Maybe the market looks at the numbers and says, "Wow, 3 trillion. Are we seeing 3 trillion in those numbers? I don't know." So I'm really curious to see what the market does, and not only on Wednesday night, but over the next week or so, or 2 weeks. What's the stock going to do? That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, so for reference, Nvidia is kind of trading right now where it traded at the last earnings, right? Give or take. I think it went up pre-stock split to like 12 or 1300 at the last earnings,
Yeah.
give or take.
Well, actually, the last earnings created this this rise on the stock, and that's what caught my attention. And I shorted it beginning at the end of May after it just took off. And that's where I recorded a video, and I got the most comments on that video ever, of all time. And then the stock faded, and then it went up like another 10%. So I was like, uh-oh. And then from there it faded down. And now it really ran up over the last week and a half or so. And it's kind of plateauing a little bit. But again, Wednesday, I think, I don't know that it's going to move a whole lot on Wednesday night, but the next couple of weeks, I think the big money is going to dictate where Nvidia goes. If you see a couple big hedge funds sell their Nvidia stock, it's going to go down substantially. If nobody sells, it could keep rising. I don't know what's going to happen. What do you think is going to happen? And you're on mute, Murdy.
Oops. Okay, there we go. So a couple of thoughts on NVIDIA. I think the earnings are going to be limp. I think it's just going to be flat. They're going to be flat or slightly down, right? Flat to 5% down is sort of my prediction. And the reason I say this is, but that's not, I think, what's interesting about their stock. I think what I'm looking for is 100%. There will be a time in the next 12 to 18 months when there's going to be a story, and whoever breaks the story first, that's when the stock is literally, I think, going to lose 25-30% of its value. And the story will go something like this. Microsoft reduces purchasing of the next Blackwell or whatever it is, right? Because they feel like they've got enough capacity and it's okay. It's not like they're going to stop buying the chips completely. They're just going to reduce the rate at which they're buying the chips. And Microsoft's going to do it, Google's going to do it, Meta's going to do it, Tesla's going to do it. And that is 80% of their revenue at this point. And once the top 5 or 10 customers reduce their buying, even by like, let's say 50%, it doesn't have to go to zero. The moment the first hint of that starts happening, because it's a momentum stock, right? And the moment the momentum reverses is where you lose all your market cap. And so I think that's what's going to happen here is because, and it's very easy to predict that this is going to happen because they're not generating the kinds of revenues that they thought that they were going to. Now, in some cases, Meta is doing well because it's all in-house. They're optimizing their ad targeting and therefore they generate revenue better. Great. And then Tesla is probably the only other real like use case with self-driving of like large scale deployment of AI. But how much revenue is Tesla really generating from their self-driving subscriptions? It's not. That's a relatively small part of their business at this point. So even Tesla, which I think has the coolest use case of real world AI with self-driving, which I have a Model Y, I use self-driving every day, I'm a fan of it. Even that's limited. And outside of that, like what is like ChatGPT does 3 to 5 billion in revenue, OpenAI, and like that's the other like big use case. So it's hard to see how do you spend 500 billion to $1 trillion in OpEx and not have revenue follow. And you keep doing that. You can do it for 1 year, fine. But will you do it for year 2, year 3, year 5? And I think we're sort of starting at year 3 now. And like, yeah, that's the question.
Yeah. In my observation, right? Like, so I've been a semiconductor investor for a long time. And I recently owned Broadcom, sold it because it was just, the price just went up and up. And I just felt like, okay, it's way above what I think it's worth, sold. I sold Qualcomm, the same reasoning. Now, NVIDIA never had, I value based on free cash flows and earnings per share, but mostly free cash flows. And that's just that's the lane I've picked. That's what works for me. I make money consistently over time. Now, NVIDIA has never kind of been a big cash flow generating company. So although I own them, because I owned them when they were the leader in cryptocurrency mining, right?
Hey guys.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah,
so NVIDIA, their GPUs, right, were used for cryptocurrency mining, which was the second use case. First use case being gaming. That was where accelerated computing helped gamers accelerate their graphics. Wonderful. Then the use case was crypto. I'm a crypto investor. It's not most of my portfolio. It's small amount of it. But I started doing homework on it principally because my son, he's 20 now, but he woke up in 2014. He said, "Hey, Dad, I want to mine cryptocurrencies." He's like 11 or 12. I'm like, "All right, let's do it." I'm in the technology industry, so he figured out what to do. I bought him the GPUs, and he operated a little mining rig in his room, and we got going. And they were NVIDIA GPUs. He used them for a year, 2 years, and we sold them for more money. And I thought, hey, that's not bad. When do you ever buy a product and do that? So my understanding of NVIDIA then I thought, well, if crypto goes, so will NVIDIA. So that was my thesis. crypto certainly had its rises and its falls, and I got out of NVIDIA. More recently, AI is certainly really interesting, but I like pump the brakes because if you recall, when did Siri on iPhone come out? Was that like 15 years ago?
Seems like it, honestly. It's so bad.
The first year,
forever ago.
Everybody was on it. We had so much fun at home. My wife would ask it silly questions. My kids would ask it silly questions. I thought it was kind of cool. And it lasted maybe a year. Does anybody use Siri now?
Nope.
The only thing you use it
by
for,
accident, maybe.
Yeah, you'd say
Is
like
ChatGPT would be the thing that was cool in 2023, and then the usage goes down and down and down. I don't know.
The only really sticky usage I'm seeing for a consumer use case outside of ChatGPT for AI are virtual girlfriends. And that's booming. But outside of having a virtual girlfriend and ChatGPT, like in terms of consumer applications, mass scale, like hasn't. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. But yeah, let me pull up Stonks chat. Actually, maybe someone in chat can educate me here.
You know what they say? It's this is how you know whether a technology is going to be great long term. Is it has to work in two industries: video gaming and porn. Right. This was true of VHS tapes. This is true of credit cards on the internet. The internet. Those are the first uses of the internet, like video games, pirated movies, and music and porn, right? And so I feel like AI is starting to check some of those boxes, and it's very overhyped in the short run. But I think over like a 10-year window, like yeah, this might be a lot bigger than it is today.
No, I understand that. I think we all agree it's going to be bigger than. But my point is, what is the consumer application right now that dollar for dollar justifies $1 trillion of OpEx spend, right? That's specifically the question. Is like if you're building a hospital or a building or a bridge, right? Let's say the bridge costs $1 billion. You're building up. There's some revenue stream there that maybe in 5 years or 10 years. Maybe probably closer to 5, you want to see your OpEx get paid off. And that's the challenge in AI is the OpEx is so high. And it's not even just the chips, right? It's the electricity, the cooling, like the data centers, the chips are just one part of the OpEx, but there's a significant OpEx outside of chips that to date is missing. Like the revenue to cover that OpEx is missing. Now, in true tech fashion, you could say, well, when we were laying fiber optics in '99 or the '90s, it was the same thing. Like, where is the revenue? And yeah, we saw what happened. And 10 years, 20 years later, we're using still the same fiber optic lines that were laid back in the '90s.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it was right. They had the right idea of the future. Yeah. They were just early. Now, one of the complete losses that I had was I invested in Webvan. You guys remember Webvan?
Oh yeah, Webvan.
So I thought this is a no-brainer. Of course, we're going to have groceries delivered. Of course, we're going to have food delivered. I was just 20 years early.
Right. So that's a very interesting point. Not only do you have to be right, you have to kind of be right in timing, at least in like a 3-year period.
Market has to be right. You look at Meta, right? Facebook. They were not the first. MySpace was the first. And MySpace was the leader. Now, MySpace made a huge blunder, right? They were having kids being targeted by pedophiles, and that became just super toxic. It just became the wrong place to be. And that is the opening Facebook had, and Facebook took over. And I think that first, we don't have a lot of strong use cases. I think ChatGPT probably has the strongest one, but I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but what if somebody comes out and they're 10 times better than ChatGPT. Or ChatGPT has gotten themselves into trouble. They replicated an actor's voice, and she took issue with it. And they said, "Oh no, we didn't replicate your voice." And then they subpoenaed the details, and they came to find out that they did use her voice. So it's like, well, those are lawsuits coming at you if you replicate voices. Our actors and book companies and all these companies are going to come after you, I imagine.
Yeah. The thing I love personally most about NVIDIA is not like what people think of in terms of revenues or, in terms of like all of that. I think it's Jensen runs a very tight ship. And that's probably the most impressive part about NVIDIA to me. It's not like the chip they have today, but it's the rate of product development and speed. I think it's really hard at this scale when you're such a big company to ship this quickly. And I think just the personal stories I've heard, I don't know Jensen, but just the stories of people who worked with him that we know have told us is, the guy is like intense, man. Like most people don't survive under him. He is like go go go. It's kind of like Elon Musk level intensity, but maybe with a little less public autism, if that's the right word. Which I respect. I mean, and so the question is, okay, can NVIDIA stay ahead of the competition? And then maybe the answer is yes, because they just have this culture of delivering a new chip that's faster, better, and more expensive every single year. And so that to me is like the most impressive thing, at least when I think of NVIDIA. I'm no longer a shareholder. I've held and bought and sold NVIDIA like most people. I sold it after the last earnings, went up 20%. I was like, fuck this, I'm out. Probably a good thing I sold. I sold right at the top. But yeah, so
Here's a fun.
Go ahead, Ali.
Go ahead, Victor.
It's back to you. I wasn't going to say anything. Go ahead.
I wonder if buying luxury houses within a 5-mile radius of NVIDIA HQ is a good investment. NVIDIA is going to be minting a lot of millionaires, like in the thousands, and they're going to want to live close to the office. And they want to buy luxury homes. So I know this from. So I actually know like a friend of a friend works at NVIDIA. Already have a luxury home, and this year they're upsizing.
Wow.
So
yeah, it's incredible the move that NVIDIA has made. It just, frankly, it's been incredible, and I've learned a lot of lessons from it. But I'm in disbelief. Good part of the way. Like I'll give them a doubling of their market cap compared to beginning of 2023, because 2022 was a down year. NVIDIA was down 65% from their height in late 21 to the bottom in 22. They were down 65%. So stocks kind of can rebound and get 100% gains off of a move like that, right? It went down, now it comes back up. So I'll give them the first 200%, but it kept going, and I'm like, holy smokes! And I guess the market just is buying into this AI vision that, hey, AI is here, it's going to change everything. And I'm looking at it going, hold on a second. There's going to be so much government intervention, right? Like you can't touch hospitals or medicine because those have strict FDA for good reason. Regulatory compliance. So you can't touch that. Media and entertainment, a little bit. You can touch this or that. You can touch certain industries, but the whole, some of these expressions that I hear from, hedge fund managers and I guess public speaking people, they just continue to amplify this euphoria of AI, which I'm like looking for facts and saying, okay, I went through the internet. I was a full-blown adult investor during the internet. And I could tell you for a fact, I mean, I got on the internet 1990. Okay. So I was on bulletin boards. We have it so good now. We have Stonks. We have YouTube. You can get any information you want, like easy. And I certainly knew the internet was going to change the world. I knew that. And I started investing and so forth. Made some bad calls, made some good calls. But there was kind of a one step forward, one step back, couple steps forward, couple steps back. I mean, industries were created, like America Online was so powerful at one point. They don't exist anymore. And you can go through and kind of look at these companies. Google really didn't exist 25 years ago. And they came out and everybody laughed at them. Oh, you're going to do search? You're crazy. And now look at them. So it's just going to be, AI is going to look way different in 5 years, and it's going to be completely different in 10 years. The winners and losers, we don't know who that is.
Yeah, completely agree, Victor. It's, I think to piggyback on what you said and what Murthy said, there's a theme here, which is for like truly transformational tech that is going to change the world. I do think AI is going to be sort of Paul Graham and a lot of people who are way smarter than me have sort of thrown their weight entirely on this bucket. Is that they're comparing this to the internet in terms of like a real tech wave. Right? For waves like this, it's almost better not to invest in the first cycle, because it's super overhyped and all the smart people are like convinced this is going to change the world, and so they all buy in. Massive overhyped investment cycle from an investing perspective, right? So we all have our investor hats on. At least Victor does. It's almost better to wait, wait for the bubble to pop or wait for like a downturn and then buy in, because you're buying in at much better prices.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, if I know an industry really, really, really well, and frankly, I don't know AI that well enough, and I don't know semiconductor that well to really be able to say, hey, in 5 years, this is going to be the thing. I would say there's a couple other industries that I probably feel that way, but this one I don't. So I'm with you, which is, hey, show me fundamentals that substantiate the story, and I'm good. Now, and then I'll invest.
Yeah, I mean, I will say in NVIDIA's defense that their PE isn't crazy.
Yeah, I agree that their PE isn't crazy, but what is going to be interesting is that, in my opinion, semiconductors are cyclical. Everybody builds up, they build up to their capacity that they need, and then they're like, I don't need any more. Now I'm going to use the capacity I bought. And you see semiconductor companies have a couple of years, if not longer, of really building out, and then the demand goes down. The way that NVIDIA is being priced, there's no cyclicality in that expectation. So I get that, right now, if you look at NVIDIA revenue, it's incredible that a company that big can grow more than 200% quarter, comparing this quarter now compared to last year. But once you get to a bigger number, the law of big numbers becomes difficult. So instead of growing 200, you're only going to grow at 150. And how's that going to play with the psychology of the market where, oh, you only grew 50%? Like, in Meta had growth in the 20s this past cycle of earnings. And I was scratching my head going, they're gigantic. And they grew 20% and the market wasn't happy. It went down. So what's going to happen to NVIDIA when they only grow 50% on a big compare? Because their compares are easy right now. They're comparing against 5 billion versus 26 billion. But pretty soon they're going to be comparing to 26 billion. And the market's going to be like, well, where are you at? We're at 40 billion. Oh, that's only 40% growth. And it's going to be interesting to see how the psychology changes.
Totally.
Hey, Dr. Kelly's in the house.
Hey, welcome back.
Welcome. How y'all doing? What's going on? Thank you. How you been?
Good. We're at 4,000
Good
predictions
to
today.
see y'all.
Wow.
Good to see y'all. It's been a minute.
First 4K day. Yeah.
It's going to be a little
I
harder
think
to
this
win
is
now,
an all-time
Dr.
high.
Kelly. The back-to-back winning days are over.
Yeah.
You're
I'm
still
saving
down
all my
by
price
tickets.
pool's
for
going
the
up.
All
Hey,
over.
price pool's going up, Murthy.
Yes, those
So I
dimples.
don't know. It's going from
Yes,
1K
yes,
to
yes.
10K per day.
Yeah, if you're new to Stonks, by the way, we'll just do a quick announcement. We're doing $1,000 today for Solana. And then we're going to do $10,000 on Wednesday for NVIDIA. Plus, limited time only. If you get a friend to sign up, your mom, your dog, whoever, you get 25 entries, and that goes back to 5 on Wednesday after NVIDIA. So this is limited time only. Get the action while it's hot, because it's going to stop.
Sweet, sweet.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
So
That's
yeah, we've
exciting.
just been talking about NVIDIA's earnings. It's been such a roller coaster, and nobody really knows what's going to happen. And we all have the theories, and I think that's why people watch this show. Is I think all of us are investing with our own money. We're not like some talking head on YouTube hyping up random stocks to get views, to get ad revenue, right? We make money from our portfolio and our investing. And so, we really put our money where our mouth is here. And that's what I love about this format is like, it's honest, it's like like we're keeping it real, and I mean, I saw this on YouTube, like every single creator, like just the hype around NVIDIA and all, like, and Palantir, and like, I don't know. And I understand like people get views when they do these like clickbait sort of, thumbnails and titles, but I think it's scary to like, because if you don't know any better, you look at all this hype and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna buy Palantir at 200 times PE. What could possibly go wrong? And yeah, so I think we're trying to keep it a little more real here and honest.
Man, I have such a cultural fit with you and Stonks. Is, I used to invest. Investing, especially 20 years ago, it was so lonely. You're making these decisions. You're doing a lot of analysis. I love analysis, by the way. I'm an accountant by education. I have a master's, and I loved the curriculum when we got into hardcore modeling and doing portfolio management. But it was a very lonely place. And then you get to now and you find like-minded people. But I do agree that, I in my channel, in my streams, I share from the point of view of an investor. And I tell people, this is what I have. This is what I invest in. This is how my logic works. It's not meant for people to replicate, because investors really invest to the outcomes they want. Like, hey, I have this amount of money. I want to take care of my family, and I want this kind of money. And this is how I can invest, how much capital I can put into the market. All those things are very specific to the investor. So I really appreciate that you guys are about that, which is, hey, NVIDIA, like I was saying earlier, I started shorting this stock because I didn't want it to be hey, I just said it, but I never really had any money on the table. And I started shorting it. If anything, it was like, I'm not going to put something out there and not defend it with an investment. I'm not going to bet $100,000. I'll bet $9,000. And if it goes up 30%, I will sell it. If it goes down 30%, I will sell it. But that's kind of like the theme of my channel. And I think I fit your mentality.
Any breaking news today we should cover? People, do you guys have any topics you would like to go over?
Well, I thought the oil complex, a couple of interesting turns over the weekend caused oil to go up 3%, and oil companies are doing quite well today. So while our technology stocks took it on the chin, the oil complex did do quite well today. And if you study oil, which is weird, I don't know if there's ever a correlation, but it seems like every good recession starts with oil prices being too high. And I don't know if it's going to keep rising, but if it does, that might be one more signal that, hey, we're heading to a recession.
Yeah, I remember in 2007-8, what did it oil go to? I think it went to 150 a barrel or something, I remember.
Exactly. Yeah, it was insane. I think it went up close to $200 a barrel. Exxon became the most valuable company on the exchange. And that's exactly why is if oil prices go up, oil companies become incredibly profitable because they're extracting oil and right now they're selling it for $78 a barrel. But if it goes up to 150, it's all cash. It's all profit.
It's super interesting. There is a little bit of I've noticed that too. Also interesting in the news today is PDD. So they also dropped their earnings. If you're not familiar, it's a big Chinese social shopping platform, Pinduoduo. Maybe we can pull up a screenshot here. But they crashed 28% today. So the stock just took a massive beating, and not sure why, but there's your volatility. If you like to trade volatility, Dr. Kelly.
Wow. I wish I had saw that one.
Yeah, I'll bring it up so we can go over it. Here we go. PDD.
Yep.
This is the Chinese e-commerce live streaming, right? Yeah.
I think it's like let me see if I can find this what the app looks like.
Okay, it's still up 24% for the year. So I guess like here's the 5-year chart. So was it like a really bad earnings miss? What did it have to do just with China?
Oh yeah, it's pretty bad. They were 71% down on earnings, EPS, and 3% down on their revenue. So yeah, they really bad.
Okay, so Temu, their parent company, basically said American depository receipts were down nearly 30%. Okay, so yeah, that's the movement of the share. Okay, interesting. But is it just like the Chinese consumer is struggling slash hard to know even like what happens in China? Could be, many things.
They have an app called Pinduoduo. They also own Temu. Temu's like pretty active here in the West, so that's like a brand we're probably familiar with. So discount shopping, you've seen their ads everywhere. Pinduoduo is kind of like similar to Groupon in some ways, where a certain number of people have to buy to kind of get like a sliding scale discount, and the more you market to your friends, the bigger the discount you get. So similar to Groupon mechanics, but sort of maybe modernized and some video and live video thrown in. I have not seen the earnings reports, but
look at the market cap. It's 138 billion. Really? Is that? I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, these are big companies, right? So like you look at some big companies out of China, Alibaba, obviously, Tencent, PDD, JD, which is sort of like the Amazon. I forget what the search engine is called. Youku is that's Russian. There's this YouTube equivalent. There's a Google equivalent. There's some big companies out of China. Yeah.
But no, I understand that. But I mean, Alibaba's market cap is 192 billion, and you're telling me Pinduoduo is 138, and that's after the crash. And so before the crash, they were like the same as Alibaba. Really? Wow.
Yeah, just check out their revenues. I haven't followed the company closely, but if you just scroll down PDD on Yahoo Finance, you should see like high level numbers.
I think PDD is, getting closer to Baba because of their growth rate. Baba is so big, it's harder to grow now, and they don't grow that fast percentage wise, but Pinduoduo has been growing really fast.
Interesting.
They have, looking at their the options chain for them, they have a volume on the put side of 34,000 for the 100 puts for this Friday. And it's funny, the open interest for that, the open interest was only 72. I wouldn't have even bought it if I saw it ahead of time, according to my requirements for buying a good option. The open interest was only 72. The volume for today is 35,739 for today. So folks are still expecting this thing to tank even further.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's and
that's
we're
like a
moving
huge. It sounds like a big difference in bid ask.
absolutely, absolutely. And we're moving into September where we're expecting stocks to fall anyway. So it could be one for people to ride down a little bit more and make some money off of them. Yeah. The spreads look pretty good,
Yeah.
actually. Usually, when you see a very awful open interest, usually the spreads on the options are really bad, but these spreads look pretty good, actually. And the volume just kicked up, of course, today. But
Yeah.
we'll see what happens over the course of a couple more weeks.
All right, guys, we're at 1 minute before entries close, and I see a ton of entries are coming in chat. Because it's crypto, I think we're going to have a bunch of people try and snipe the pot last second.
Yes.
And so here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if our servers can even handle this.
Let me
Let's
throw in
see.
one right now.
Yeah, this is going crazy, guys. 60 seconds. Here we go. Pick your price. I should do it too. I haven't even done it.
Yeah. Go. Victor, Dr. Kelly, take a second, put in a prediction because
Let me
we've
jump
got a minute,
in.
and this is one of those. There's no earnings call today, so
I put in my prediction an
it's
hour
gonna-
ago.
I jumped in with 157.30.
I picked that it would go up from 1 hour ago. I think it's still there, but we'll see.
Yeah, we're at 4,300 and it is rising.
All right,
Here we go. Here comes.
159.87.
It's so exciting to watch like a wall of like.
We got 15 seconds for the last few bids to jump in.
I mean, chat is
Do
basically
you-
unusable at this point because it's so wow. Okay, here we go. 5 seconds. Get them in.
With Solana, do you use the trading price right at the close or at 1:30 Pacific?
1:30 Pacific, so 4:30 Eastern.
That's
and
how
we
I
get
understood it. Okay.
Yeah, and we get it from TradingView, which I believe gets it from Coinbase because I know prices can be different at different exchanges, especially for crypto. So yeah,
Yeah, I
now we can
expected-
chat in peace. Yes, trust fund baby, I completely agree. Now we can chat. But I will say this, by the way. Okay, we closed at 4,374 predictions, all-time high.
That's a record. Awesome.
I mean, Dr. Kelly, you were here 3 weeks ago when we were doing, like 50 predictions a day. So
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yes.
um,
4,000. That's awesome. Nice job.
yeah, so
next 10,000, right, Murthy?
10,000. It's coming tomorrow or
10,000 a
NVIDIA.
day. It might be on Nvidia. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
We will see.
So big announcement so we've been working very hard on building a new UI for the game, and that will go live sometime today. Maybe after the game closes or maybe tonight, not really sure. Our devs are working on fixing the bugs with it. But a couple of things are changing. So we're moving the bids to their own column so people can still chat and not have bids just take up all of chat. And so that's happening.
Cool.
It's going to be some cool little animations, and it'll be a better experience on mobile. So all of that's going to happen probably today. So when you come for the game tomorrow, it's going to look completely different. So don't freak out. Yeah.
I'm
So,
streaming
yeah.
to Facebook right now, so a lot of my folks
Exciting.
are watching over there.
Oh, nice. Is it the first time they're entering?
Some of them will be the first time that they're seeing it. Now, the people who were taking my class when I first joined, if they were in my class, they were the first on. Because remember, a lot of my clients were making money, like Latrice Hayes. I remember you kept saying her name. She was making money almost every day. So now it's the first time I'm opening it up to all of Facebook. So I give them a chance to come in and make this free money.
Nice. Let's do it.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean, Wednesday's going to be a banner day. So it's the first time we've covered Solana today, 1K today. I think we're doing Fox tomorrow. $1,000 and 10K on Wednesday.
Sweet.
Cool. I haven't even seen the new interface, so excited for that to roll out. It's funny, people in chat are like, finally you can breathe in peace and chat like normal on Stonks. Predictions are closed.
Nice.
Yeah, so just a reminder for everyone, if you want to share the link, now is the time, next 2 days, because you get 25 free entries and then it goes back to 5. And so, yeah, do it now. Also, I think it might be with today's release or maybe not, but subscriptions are rolling out. So for all the analysts and creators like, Victor and Dr. Kelly, who are streaming on Stonks, you can now get subscriptions directly from viewers.
Cool
And
deal.
unlike
You're
YouTube,
rolling
that
out
takes
so many
20%.
awesome. I'm so glad I joined with you guys. There's so many different things you're doing. I love it.
Yeah, we're working hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and creators get 100% off the subscriptions on Stonks, right? So when you're subscribing, don't worry, Stonks is not going to take 30% or 50% like Twitch or YouTube does. We're giving 100% to the creators, so minus the credit card fees. So yeah,
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, YouTube and Twitch. I think Twitch keeps about 50% of subscriptions, and YouTube keeps 55% on their advertising revenue, and they share 45 back to the creator. You can look at their earnings reports for their margins on their ad side. Yeah, it's pretty bad, and sometimes for like some folks they'll negotiate it down to 30, but they're still keeping 30%.
yeah. So exciting! Yeah, lots are happening on the platform side. We had giveaways go live. So if you haven't done a giveaway as a creator, just ping Jason, and he will get you set up, and you can run your giveaways. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. It's been a busy week.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And just to remind the people who are listening, we guess the price of the stock, and the price that we guess is the cutoff at 4:30 every day, 4:30 EST. So whatever the price of the stock of the day is at 4:30, if your price that you guessed equals that or close to that, you get paid. Okay. So the cutoff is 4 p.m. every single day Eastern time. And if you are right, then you get a piece of $1,000 every single day. Except what day? Wednesday, when it's going to be how much? $10,000.
$10,000. It's $10,000.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I'm ready for that. Cool deal. So click the link and start joining. Awesome.
Yeah, we're actually going to do
Where's Jason today?
Trader Prad is on chat, so we're going to be doing a giveaway on Prad's channel right after this. So we're going to host his channel once we're done here, and you can join a free giveaway on Trader Prad's channel.
Nice.
Somebody wants to give away the 3 teenagers. Yep. That might be a different platform. Killing Bird is asking what kind of content can we stream on Stonks? Just generally anything finance related. If the markets are closed, we've had people stream video games, and that's cool. We don't mind. Just no illegal content, please. And let's, not have crazy sexual content, but so let's keep it finance-ish, and within that guideline, everything else is fine. And yeah, not financial advice, but good advice. That should be our logo slogan.
That's a good one. Yeah. This is not financial advice. It's also not terrible advice. We don't give advice. We're just talking about what we're doing. Great. Any other interesting news to cover today?
Let's see what we got.
So Canada put 100% tariff on Chinese EVs, plus some raw materials, steel and aluminum, I think. Yeah, precious metals content stream. Yeah, it would be very interesting to have like, because there's finance is so broad, right? We've got commodities, we've got forex, we've got real estate, we've got tax optimization, other than just stocks, right? And so I feel like over time, yeah, that would be pretty amazing to have like diversified streams, especially on maybe weekends. Like let's do a tax optimization or real estate stream on weekends. I don't know. Or just a really deep dive on one company, right? Like Victor, like pick one company and do like a 5-hour deep dive, like full on model the company out. And
Yeah, that'd be really fun. That's where I learned. And the other, keeping it all like constructive and positive is, I don't know if this would be a good idea or not, but having a bear and a bull and just talking about, hey, getting away from the most obvious company, let's say Uber. Okay. I'm big on Uber. I'm an investor. I think they're in an expanding addressable market. So there's a lot of things that I could share, but I would really like to hear somebody else say, okay, here are potentially are your blind spots. Here's why I don't like Uber. Here's why I think Uber is going to hit a wall. Because if I have a bunch of people that I talk to that all think the way that I do, I probably have a bunch of blind spots. But if I have some people that are like, well, I think a little differently, and I actually think Uber may get in trouble here. And it's like, I didn't think of that.
I'm curious, Victor, what's your take on self-driving and Uber's future?
I have a perspective.
I think robo-taxi, so Uber is in a good spot. They're like, they don't need to develop the technology. I think Waymo or maybe Tesla or maybe somebody else, maybe the Chinese, but they already partnered with General Motors because General Motors was developing their self-driving technology. But to them, it's like, hey, we're Uber, okay? We don't hire drivers. We get these mini entrepreneurs that want to drive on our platform. They buy their own car, so we don't have to lay out the capital. Okay, that's great. And then they can also do food delivery. So back to the technology, we don't have to be Google Alphabet and spend, I don't know, 20, 25 billion. How much do they have in Waymo at this point? A lot. They've put all that capital in to develop Waymo. Well, maybe they'll just have a sharing, situation where they do make some money, but they didn't have to have the risk of putting out that capital. So I think Uber is in a great spot. They obviously have the brand where if an Uber shows up, I feel comfortable going into that car. And I feel comfortable with my wife going in that car, my kids going in that car. It's Uber. So they have that, the advantage from the network, from the brand. And they're big around the world, by the way. I took Ubers in Italy, Mexico City, Germany. And it felt good. Like we were to Berlin, 2019. It felt comfortable. Like, okay, I'm calling an Uber. I feel good about getting in that car. And I got into a Mercedes and they took us to our hotel and it was great. So that's I think that robo-taxi is going to be an opportunity for Uber. It's not going to be a threat.
Victor, do you think that's a really sort of interesting perspective? Do you think Uber has the distribution pipes, right? They have the users with the apps downloaded, the credit cards on file, and like the habit of people just calling an Uber. And that's going to be really, really expensive for any new entrant that's trying to go direct to consumer to build up. Is that and then the technology is just shop the different tech providers, put Waymo versus Cruise versus whoever gives Uber the best deal is going to get plugged in.
Yeah. And I think there's both sides win. Let's just take Waymo as an example, or GM, since GM formed the partnership with Uber. GM has invested a lot in getting their robo-taxi technology up to where it's at. Now, General Motors has no capacity to run a ride-sharing app. I mean, how many hundreds of millions of people have that app loaded on their iPhone or Android device? A lot. And Uber, I think there's a lot of knowledge and ability to execute there that General Motors is like, okay, there's no way we can do that. So we'll just partner with somebody and it'll be a sharing of the profit. We'll capitalize on this technology we've spent a lot of money developing, but I think it'd be very attractive to GM or Waymo. I don't think Google Alphabet wants to get into the ride sharing, kind of operating a ride sharing business. They like businesses that are like very little touch to the end customer. They like search. They like YouTube, because then they get guys like me to create content, and then people watch it and they make money. Yay. So that's the business they want. They don't want, oh, great, now I have a platform, I have users. And I guess Waymo could get there a little faster than GM, but I don't know that Waymo was ever developed. It's kind of like the way Google Alphabet created Android. They didn't come out with their phone to compete against everybody else. They took their platform, their operating system. Now Samsung uses it, which is a huge, huge plus. I think, does Huawei use Android? I'm not sure of that one, but the long story short is the operating system that's more common around the world is the Android operating system on phones. It's not iOS. iOS is number 2. So Alphabet, Google, their preference is we'll create the technology and then we will let other partners use it. And then we win because we make a lot of money, but have very little cost of attracting the customer, keeping the customer. And we don't know who's going to win market share. Will Uber be the market share leader, or Lyft, or somebody else that's new? Well, if we partner with them, we're going to win, because if we partner with all three, then they're going to use Waymo. So that's how I see it.
Is Waymo using Uber right now in their cities, or do they? I've never used Waymo before, so I don't know. Are they running their?
It's its own app. Right now, it's controlled. Los Angeles, Phoenix, and San Francisco, and only a part of Los Angeles, because I live in the Los Angeles area. I'd love to get in one of those. I think my wife would let me take that ride alone, by the way. But I'd love to get in one. I've driven next to a car, but I'd be super cool. And I think people are doing it because, hey, I want to get in a robo-taxi. That'd be super cool. And I want to get on one. See, Dr. Kelly's with my wife.
Dr. Kelly's like, nope.
My wife will let me take a robo-taxi like 50 times. And if I don't die, she'll be like, okay, maybe I'll try it.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? What's funny, Victor, is my wife is like that. Same with Murti. Is like, we might be tech early adopters, but most of the women I know are just like, no way, not over my dead body. Like, it screwed up one time. I'm not trying this again, ever. So I feel like they're going to be, but it's funny. I rode my first Waymo yesterday because I was curious. I was like, I need to experience this thing. And it was an all or nothing type of thing, because I put my whole family in it. They were all in the back. I was sitting in the front next to the empty driver's seat, because I wanted to like see the thing right up front, and they have like a whole touch screen, and you could interact with the thing through your phone or the touch screen in the front of the car. And it was expensive. It wasn't cheaper than Uber, right? It was the same price, right? Roughly. And it was cool. It was like the thing drove itself. It was pretty competent.
I imagine that the car was silent. Everybody's like, oh, here we go.
Yeah. Some people were, I didn't feel scared. And like, I asked my wife, and she's like, yeah, I didn't feel scared either.
Did you get like max dad points from your kids? Like, dude, that was so fun, Dad.
Totally. Yeah. They're still pretty young, but I think I got some points. Yeah. Because I was like, we're going to do a surprise. It's a surprise for you guys today. And voila, a self-driving thing shows up, and we all get in, and they thought I was going to buy them ice cream or something. And so this was way cooler.
How long was your ride, and did you have like some like scary moments?
No, not a single scary moment. It knew where to pull in, like pull off the street, right? There's like a little empty spot. So, okay, we're going to pull in here on a driveway or something where you can get in safely, get out safely. And then so it was about 10 minutes, and I changed the route like 3 times during those 10 minutes, because my wife was like, no, let's not go here, let's go there. And I'm like, honey, like there's no driver here. I can't just tell him to make a right. Like she kept saying, can you make a left here? Can you make a right here? Like there's nobody here. So I learned that the way you do it is you pull up your app and you can edit the route on the fly. Like you can change the destination or add a stop, and the thing just like recalculates and then just goes. But it takes like it takes a minute to kind of do that. Um, but no, I didn't feel scared. I felt like it was more stable than Tesla's FSD. And yeah, I think we probably we were in San Francisco for a couple of hours yesterday, and I think we probably saw over 30 of these cars during those 2 hours. Like they're everywhere. They're literally I can't imagine, like they have to be as like equal to Uber or Lyft in terms of the number of cars on the road that we're seeing.
Wow, wow. I would have been sitting there like this.
I would have had so much fun. I'm gonna take. I mean, I don't live. It's West LA that it services, not all of Los Angeles, because LA is huge, right? San Francisco is quite a bit smaller than Los Angeles, so they only do West LA, which I'm never really in. And I don't think for the first ride, my wife I don't think is going to be on board with it, so I'll have to go when I'm out there alone, and it'll just be a joyride for me.
Victor, you should come down to the Stonks office. We're close by. We're in Orange County. We're in Irvine. I mean, it's not
really
close, depending on whether there's traffic or not. So it could be 30 minutes or it could be 3 hours. But yeah, we're in Irvine.
Yeah, I'm in North Tustin, which is a stone's throw from Irvine.
Yeah, we're right
tell
next
me the
to
address.
John Wayne, the airport.
Down.
See, I didn't know. Maybe I knew that, but forgot because I just came back from Cali. My son went to UC Irvine, so I was always over there. I forgot you guys were there. I could have stopped by and been like, "Hey, I'm here in person."
Yeah, we're like a stone's throw away from John Wayne.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
All right, next time I'm in Cali, I'll definitely come by for sure.
And there's some dedicated streaming rooms in there, right? So you could go grab a room and have it be soundproofed and kind of just do your thing.
I will be in touch. I didn't know you guys were in Irvine. I figured. I think Jason's East Coast, right?
Yeah, he's in Florida.
Eastern time zone. So I just use his contact details to think, okay, the Stonks crew is in the eastern side of the country, but hey, lucky me, you're in Irvine. I'm like, I'm a short drive away.
Yeah, and we're trying to build out a studio here, so having like multiple people in person actually stream every day. So we've got some nice cameras and mics and setup going. So yeah, it would be good to like stream in person.
I've been doing the morning stream, which I think is working for me. I did a morning stream at 6, and I'm going to do that every weekday, every trading day. And I had a good number of people, and it was a really interesting stream. I don't know what, 6 a.m. too early?
I was in the office today at 7, and so I was trying to do 6, but I was like, no, 6 is because to have energy at 6 o'clock, you really need to wake up at like 5 or 4:30, like wake up, get some energy going. Yeah, that's hard.
Right. Maybe an afternoon stream. I'll think about that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
Cool. How are we doing? How's Solana doing, guys? We're in chat if you want to put in.
Yeah, we should check in. Yeah.
Live price 157.70.
Yeah. Okay. Let me pull up Solana. On the world's best finance app, that is Yahoo Finance. The meme of Yahoo Finance lives on.
157.68 is what CMC has it. Which is probably where Yahoo Finance is getting their prices. TradingView is also at 157.65, so pretty close. I think we're going to use the TradingView price, but it's basically in line with everything. Yeah, it's like 1 cent up or down.
Yeah. Okay, so we are on a downward trend here. Let's see if this continues. So we'll get a little bit of price action.
Right. We got 7 more minutes. I got one at 157.34. So let's see if it'll come down a little bit more.
I guess in the wrong direction. So there's no way I'm in the money.
We'll come back to Solana. Yeah, Solana's been such an interesting project, right? I've lost some money on it. I should have probably held on to it. That's probably the story every investor says. But yeah, Solana. It's probably, I think, after Ethereum, it's probably one of the most successful like developer, just purely in terms of number of projects developed, right? I don't know. Is there like a number 2 after Ethereum? You would say Ripple, maybe, but not really. I think Solana is number 2.
I mean, I would put Bitcoin, Ethereum.
Yeah, Bitcoin, Ethereum, yeah, and Solana.
Yeah, I don't know too much about Solana. I exclusively invest in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and I am in a liquidity pool. And I have to admit, my now 20-year-old son, he's officially a junior in college today. Today's day one. So he's officially a junior. I'm 56, he's 20. So whenever we talk crypto and he gets in liquidity pools and gets in all this stuff that just breaks my brain. So I have to go get coached by a 20-year-old to explain this stuff to me. And sometimes he has to explain it like 5 times because I'm a stock guy. I've been in the software industry as well. And so I've been in liquidity pools that make sense to me because it's kind of like earning a yield off of a liquidity pool. And, but can I coach somebody else? No, I'm not there yet. I'm getting coached by a 20-year-old.
I think the best thesis for investing in crypto I've heard is crypto is like gold for 20-year-olds. That's the simplest way I've heard crypto described.
Yep.
Is what happens when you get your inheritance. You're not putting it in gold, you're putting it in crypto. And so there's a 20-30-year-old bull cycle for crypto where parents will give their inheritances to their kids, and their kids are going to buy Robinhood stock and crypto, for good or for bad. That's kind of the
Yeah, my whole like rationalizing cryptocurrencies, right? So I don't think anybody would argue that we're in a digital world. We're streaming. There's 4 of us. We're all in different locations. And we do online banking. It's pretty intuitive now, right? We're totally comfortable with that. But everything we've built from a software perspective, online platform perspective, is based on a currency model that was developed thousands of years ago. What's wrong with that picture? Why are you using fiat currencies that, like the US dollar was made by the US, and then in Europe they have the euro, and in China they have their currency and so forth. So as we become a smaller world through being more connected and fully digital, yeah, we need digital currencies. That it totally makes sense to me. And Bitcoin, you can transfer it around the world at the speed of light, and you can send $1 million or $5. So that whole paradigm makes sense to me. The whole thesis makes sense to me. Where it's going to go exactly, I can't tell you, but I can say that I do believe that cryptocurrencies have a place in the world in 2024. And I think it's just going to keep getting bigger going forward.
It'll be really cool when more countries come out and say we need to keep some of our reserves in crypto, like a basket of the top 3, top 5 crypto, kind of like we do Forex and kind of like we do gold, right? And so there is going to be some amount of money that currently goes to gold that is going to end up going to Bitcoin and some of the other major crypto coins. That would be that. I think that's going to be like the real bull market swing up. But yeah, like gold and Bitcoin. Bitcoin's been called digital gold But gold is just so much more like annoying to keep safe, to transport, to buy, to sell, like all of those things.
It'll be interesting when we see how many governments start diving deeply into it and how they're regulating it. Because we know a lot of people move to different coins, altcoins, when we saw the U.S. start regulating it more. So, yeah, we'll see what's going to happen.
Yeah, Trust Fund Baby in chat is talking about Intel. So Intel did something very interesting today. Intel actually hired Morgan Stanley and paid them millions of dollars, I don't know how many millions, to fend off activist investors because they're expecting such a shit show in their stock price and their sort of investor class that they are preemptively hiring an investment bank to prevent a takeover because the board is afraid they're all going to lose their cushy jobs, which they really should. They should all lose their jobs.
They
But
should.
I mean, Intel's kind of going to zero at this point, right? Like, okay, maybe not zero zero, but figuratively zero. Like it's, um, yeah. As Victor you said, like semis are very cyclical, and Intel has lost this cycle, and so
It's
yeah.
I think so. I was an Intel stockholder when that whole thing went down, and I bought into Intel because, I mean, in the 90s, right? They were the 5,000-pound gorilla in semiconductors. There was Intel, and then the rest of the market made up 20%. They were just so huge, and I'm like, okay, at some point that company is going to come back. And PC sales, by the way, have been doing well. I'm also an HP stockholder. That stock's been working. So having said that, I got into the stock, not a whole lot of capital invested, but the thing that I'm very disappointed is that, and this is important to me, is stockholders and the management team. It should be a partnership. It should be your partners with your stockholders, your owners. And they didn't pre-guide. If any situation needed pre-guidance, it was Intel showing up to those earnings and laying those kind of financials out there. It's like, guys, you had to have known a month ago. If you didn't know a month ago that it was this bad, then I'm even more worried that you don't have that visibility of your business. Having said that, you should have pre-guided and said, hey, FYI, you need to hammer our stock, a month before the earnings, because we're in a turnaround of a large magnitude, and we need to warn the market. And other companies have done that, and they have the discipline of doing so, but they need to communicate with their investors. But to set up the investors to go into that earnings and get hammered was not good. And I don't know what's going to happen to Intel. I don't know that I'll ever buy the stock, but it's like, I don't know if their technology is ever going to be back. I mean, with PCs, I think they're going to be okay, but they're never going to be a leader, and they're not going to be trusted going forward.
Guys, winners are coming.
The winners are
calculated.
out.
We are, yeah, there we go. There's the confetti. Dun, dun, dun.
So
What
the
do you want to
final
put it?
price
Oh,
was
there we go.
158.11.
158. Oh no. Oh, those swings, those last minute swings. I'm not gonna win.
Right?
All right, 158.11. We had 4,300 predictions, guys.
Nice.
Number one, what do you mean, is 100 and... Do we know who that person is?
It was. What do you mean?
Yeah, what do you mean?
Is the winner.
Chingy, W-Face 88, Daisy, Brain Cancer. Ooh, that's a heavy one. Sammy.
Congratulations.
Congrats, guys. It's
Congrats to the winners.
Are we
Racking
seeing
up
that
your,
13 people? Are we seeing that 13 people with the same price bid? Are we seeing that?
Wow, we are seeing that. Look at that. Yeah,
13 people got the same price. So the difference is, what do you mean? Who got number one put in his bid the earliest?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're looking
Mm-hmm.
at.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And with
Yeah,
things like
yeah,
crypto,
yeah.
it's not going to swing too much because there's no earnings call dropping today, right? And so this
Right,
Right.
this is
right.
more likely to happen, where people will be within exactly the same price or within like a cent or two of each other.
And I already got my email saying I want to hold $1.02 today.
better than me.
You're in the money.
That's. Oh, did you have this? Okay.
Yeah, I won
But I'm
a
still
dollar
number
too.
one though. I'm still number one. I'm in first place. I got $1,038. So I'm still at
You
the
are.
top of the pile. I'm good.
Wow. I was feeling proud of my $7.53 balance until I heard that.
Sorry, my guy. Sorry, my guy. I was an early adopter. Early adopter.
All right, guys, we're gonna end the stream and we're gonna go raid Trader Prat stream. So if you're new here, the stream will auto direct, and there is a giveaway happening on Trader Prat stream. So just click the join giveaway, and you can win some more money.
If you didn't
So
win already, if you didn't win
yeah.
right now, you win again.
All right, here we go. 3, 2,
Thank you,
1.
Thank you, Victor. Thank you, Dr. Kelly, for joining.
Wait, did that go through? I don't know if that went through. Yep, there
Yeah,
we go.
I see it. I see join raid. I'm just not going to click it. Let's see if the timer
Yep, it should
works for me.
refresh.
It's going.
Yep,
Okay, here
there
we
go.
are.
All right.